I'm Katie Pickler, and with me today is Court Winsett.
Hello, Katie.
And Cameron Spann.
We sure are going to miss you, Katie.
Y'all are not getting rid of me for that long.
This is your kind of farewell episode.
Kind of my temporarily, I'll be gone for a little bit of time. This is we're calling it BullCast Babies and what's next for BullCast, because we've talked about it a little bit. These babies are cooking. They have an eviction date. They have a date they've got to get out. And we wanted to make sure that we kind of did a fun episode before I leave these two guys in charge for a little bit.
If there's an eviction date, does that make your OBGYN like the landlord?
Yeah.
Cool.
She's like, get out.
Get out.
I
You
think
can't stay there anymore.
Katie's the landlord.
Yeah, I'm the landlord.
Yeah, you have the land.
The OB is like the sheriff delivering the...
Yes.
There you go. That works.
Served the papers to the babies.
Like, get out. It is time. That date has been set. Again, this is kind of just going to be a little fun one, but we are going to talk about kind of what's going to happen while I'm out. I know these guys are going to take good care of everybody and make sure they're delivering excellent content every Thursday at noon.
What if we drop the ball and we so bad? 5 years in and we miss a show. We're not going to let it happen. No way.
I will postpartum rage come after y'all.
Court and I will jump in here and say, hey guys, what's up? All right, see you later.
And we out.
And we're done.
So what's our list?
Best babies in movie and TV history.
I like this one. This is good.
Movie and TV history, guys. This is all history of movie and TV babies. All of the babies. Which ones are the best?
You know us. We're going to argue on some of these.
Indeed.
Number one, he's here. He's all around us still.
He was our unofficial mascot there for a long time, but
No, he's still hanging out over here. Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda, the Mandalorian, Grogu.
Grogu.
Yeah.
I almost called him Groot, too.
Yeah.
What
Groot
is his
too.
name?
Oh, see, Groot needs to be on here. Baby Groot is it's not on here.
It
but...
is. It's number 2.
It's number 2.
Oh, it is.
So
I
it's
didn't-
like-
I can't read.
You stole my fire.
I'm sorry.
We
He said Groot.
manifested it. It just
He
appeared.
said Groot, and I just thought about how cute Groot is.
Yeah, Baby Groot. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, really, it was where you major dose of Baby Groot.
Baby Groot is much sassier than adult Groot.
Oh, yeah.
Very sassy. Next on the list would be, of course, Stewie Griffin from Family Guy.
Indeed.
Animated series. It's basically an adult in a baby's
Yeah.
body. He's got adult humor, very witty. He's got a British accent, even though he's in an American family. It's great.
Jack. From The Incredibles.
Jack.
With
I
all
love
the
Jack.
superpowers.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Jack. We named one of our dogs Jack. Jack is hilarious.
Well, Jack has famous chocolate chip cookies when you go to Disney.
Similar to how you get Baby Groot in Guardians 2, you get Jack in Incredibles 2. You see him in the first one, but in the second one,
That's when,
all
he's really,
his powers are coming out.
Yeah.
because he's just a little thing. And then in the second movie, he's more like active little toddler thing going on.
Next one is Maggie Simpson from The Simpsons. I've never really watched The Simpsons, so I have nothing to say on this topic.
She's had a passy for, 30 years now? How long has that show been going?
I mean,
She-
it's been going for a long time.
She is forever a child.
Ooh,
What
next
about
up,
this next one?
it's a lineup. We've got Tommy Pickles, Chucky, Phil, and Lil from the Rugrats. Why did they only
Absolutely.
hand select those? You've got Dill, you've got a lot of babies.
I don't know, but I certainly love that they included the Rugrats. I think that's great.
Did you ever
Rugrats was
watch it? I know
awesome.
you're a
Oh,
little older than
yeah,
us.
no,
Okay.
I mean, I didn't watch it, but I watched it with my kids. It didn't come out until when my kids were growing up.
Oh, see, I loved it. And Angelica was my girl. I loved her. So sassy. You remember the episode where they grow up and are adults? It's a big deal. But yeah, no. And Phil and Lil were twins.
You'll see the movie, the first movie.
Of course.
Yeah. Ooh,
Okay.
ooh, ah, ah. Yep.
Carlos from The Hangover.
Of course.
Yes, absolutely.
The baby that hangs from Jack Galifianakis, right?
Yeah. The baby's just chill, has his own
Yeah.
little glasses.
Baby is 100% fully chill the
Yeah.
entire movie.
Oh, you get my favorite movie.
Next one on the list is Mary from 3 Men and a Baby.
You've never seen
No,
this
I've
movie?
seen it. I would suggest that Mary from 3 Men and a Baby, the original, doesn't do anything.
I mean,
all that.
she does it. I think those three guys collectively would be in my top favorite dads because they just work so well together. And then in the second movie, obviously she's older. And I watched that movie recently and made Dana watch it. I was like, look, here's all the mistakes they made. It'll still be okay. She still got fed. She still was taken care of.
I will save mine until later.
I am only getting animated babies. I'm on a roll here. This would be Boss Baby, who is voiced by Alec Baldwin. Did y'all see that movie?
Yes, I
It's
remember
probably
that.
6, 7 years old. My kids love it.
Do you remember, it's not on this list, but do you remember the movie Baby Geniuses?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Real babies. And they just, I think, did dub voiceovers or something.
Yeah. I know it's not tied to these movies, but it gives the vibes of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just like they have this whole little language and stuff. And then all of a sudden, when they start talking where adults can hear, they lose that ability to talk to the babies. That's kind of sad.
I have not thought of that movie in a long time. Thank you, Katie.
Well, when you said Boss Baby, I remember the animated movie came out and I was like, this is so similar to Baby Geniuses. This is one of my favorites as well. Baby Sinclair from Dinosaurs. I'm the baby, gotta love me. I definitely had a stuffed animal of this baby. Like
It wasn't an attractive baby. It looked like a frog, like a pink frog.
And it like still had a lot of the
pull this
pictures had like the big old diaper. And I mean, he was a turd. He was not nice. That's my mama. Don't touch my mama. Insane.
Ugly. Ugly baby.
Yeah, because that's the picture of like he's kind of still in his little shell.
Oh, yeah.
In a little yellow shirt.
I remember that.
But I loved the show Dinosaurs so much. Like it was so much fun.
Well, speaking of mean babies, next one on the list is mine, and I don't think you get much worse than Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeehaw. Not really a whole lot else to say about that one. It's just,
Rosemary's Baby.
yeah.
Another animated one, but it's annoying. I get Baby Shark.
Yeah.
Baby Shark. Do, 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 do.
Oh, no.
You're about to experience that song like a lot in a couple years.
Yeah, like that. And I'm sure, if Miss Rachel's still around and all the different things. And of course, I'm going to try and like teach them about like DuckTales and Rescue Rangers, some of the iconic, my classic cartoons.
You might succeed with some of that. The problem is once they're old enough to be going and socializing with other children, they're going to hear about whatever the current shows are, and they're going to want to watch them because that's what their friends are watching.
Both of my nieces watched The Incredible Spider-Man, which I introduced them to the original Spider-Man animated series, and like I've got them kind of watching that as well. But on the new one, that's where they learn about a lot of the different other characters, because that's where I think I sent a text to Court and was like, I don't even know who half these characters are. No, I've got to like step up on my comic characters for sure, since it is two boys that I'm having.
Yeah,
so.
since it is two boys, there's a distinct possibility that they might be somewhat interested in some of the superheroes.
A little bit, yes. I mean, which I'm fine. I love that. And I love superheroes. I've just got to have a little like cheat sheet of like, now which, is that Marvel? Is that,
like a family tree on.
Yeah, like who does this belong to? Was that an Avenger? What's going on?
I learned with my kids, if I try to force an old show that I grew up with on them, they want nothing to do with it. Ooh, this looks stupid, gross, the animation's dumb. But if they find it on their own, like they're obsessed with Arthur right now.
Oh,
it doesn't even air anymore, but the reruns and on PBS and stuff, love it. They love it.
Arthur and Babar.
Yep. Oh my word, yes. I grew up on that one.
Yes. Some of those shows you go back and you're like, why did we watch this? There was that time period where they would have like the talking sushi cartoons, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Why is sushi talking?
Y'all grew up in an age when you didn't have on-demand cartoons the way they do now.
We had to watch what was on.
You had the Cartoon Network. You had Nickelodeon. You had, when I was growing up, we didn't have that stuff. I did have Nickelodeon when I was a kid, but the stuff that they showed on Nickelodeon when I was a kid is nothing like what they showed when y'all were kids.
Well, it's like they had like, because the Bernstein Bears were some of my favorite books, but they also had TV shows that you could watch.
I didn't have Cartoon Network. Cartoons being a thing that you watched during the week was something that wasn't really a thing until I was pretty much almost out of cartoons and not interested in them anymore. Because when I was a really young kid, all you had was Saturday morning cartoons. Yeah. That was when you got your cartoons.
I remember ABC One Saturday morning, and the Saturday mornings, and for like 4 or 5 hours, it was the classics like Pepper and Recess. It was just all these cartoons. Oh, so good.
You and I have talked about this before. It is one of those parents now have the ability to be like, oh, my kid loves this show. I can then just like go on to Netflix. I can go onto this and turn it on and we can watch it. Now, we would have that where you'd like burn the crap out of a VHS tape because you'd keep watching it. But yeah, like we had to watch whatever TV show was on. My mom always talks about my brother with the daycare or something watched a show and like, Miss Brisby, I want to watch Miss Brisby. And she's like, who is Miss Brisby? What is this? And of course, that wasn't the day of like, let me just Google it. Like I just literally did of like Google it. But like it took her a while to figure out like, what is this movie that my son is obsessed with and wants to watch again? Yeah. We definitely have some great advantages, but I think it then turns into you can't play the, oh, well, no, that's not on anymore. We can't watch that.
So we do have other topics.
We have an outline. Yeah.
That was a list. There you go.
Those are some babies.
There are no rules in today's episode.
No, we're just kind of having fun with it. We're going down memory lane. And then,
I want to throw in one other baby thing. There are two babies I guess technically three. There were three babies that weren't mentioned that they get very short screen time.
Okay.
She's Having a Baby, classic movie about a married couple who has a kid. And then, of course, Father of the Bride Part 2. George and Megan are born there at the end, and they
There's
get
a lot of great movies
screen
about
time.
being pregnant. 'Cause it's like I remember watching 9 Months with Hugh Grant, and of course that's then the whole lie. It's actually not 9 months; it's 10 months.
Yeah.
They lied to us.
Have you watched What to Expect?
Yeah, I've seen that one. I watched the new Amy Schumer one.
I haven't seen that one.
I wouldn't. There's a lot of people that really liked it. It was funny. It didn't do that much for me. But I'm kind of becoming. I don't know if I'm that big of a Amy Schumer fan.
I don't dislike Amy Schumer, but that movie that she just recently did, where she basically faked her pregnancy, that was just kind of.
It
wasn't necessarily because she's bad. It just wasn't that great of a movie. She hasn't gotten a lot of great roles. She was better as a stand-up comedian, whatever.
Yeah, she's had a couple of good ones, but it's just you have to be in the mood, and that one just kind of Okay, obviously lots of great babies, obviously lots of great pointers. We say this at the end of each episode, but feel free to leave a comment, a suggestion if you've got some advice on how you survived those first little bit of newborns at home, because I'm going to be juggling not one, but two. Still don't know how we're going to do this.
We've probably talked about this before. The craziest sensation that I've ever had was walking out of the hospital with my oldest child, and Robin and I were in our mid-20s, just kind of like looking around like, they're just going to let us walk out?
We said the same thing. They double-checked our car seat, and they're like, all right, see ya. And we were driving home like, we're children. This isn't legal.
Yeah.
I'm older than y'all were when y'all brought home yours, and I still feel like I'm a teen mom. Like, I shouldn't be doing this.
My best advice, and we'll probably get into this, I don't even know if they do this anymore, but a nurse will come in and take the baby or help or give you rest. Really soak that in.
Yeah.
Because once you're home, I know your mom will probably be with you for a week or two.
BB has been told she's got to help.
That will help immensely, but just any kind of help, even from the hospital, just soak it in.
That is what I've been told, is that it's like, you'll have plenty of time to bond. If somebody else is willing to take them, do it, especially at the hospital. I am having twins. They are boys. It still continues to be funny to me that, wanted one, getting two. I am Miss Girly Girl, and I'm getting two boys. So here we go. It's finally happening. It's reality. I have to set that in. So the true cost of twins. Diaper duty. Double the fun.
Double the duty.
Yeah, single baby uses 2,500 diapers in the first year.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean, somewhere around 3 to 5 a day would have been my guess. Yeah. But
because you're not just changing poopy diapers. I mean, every time they pee, you got to change it or they're going to get diaper red.
Yeah, I mean, I heard somebody tell me recently I have 150 diapers plus a week.
Yeah.
With these twins, and it's, obviously the other thing that's super overwhelming is everyone's like, well, which brand are you using? And some babies like ones that are better than others, and so like that's the cost. And we talk about there's a whole new world you get involved in, because apparently Costco carried Costco brand diapers. Well, they were made in the same factory as, and I'm going to butcher this, but it was like, let's say they were made in the same factory as Huggies, and then they changed their contract, and now they're made in the same factory as Pampers, and everyone's pissed. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, I've been given a lot of diapers for baby shower gifts and stuff like that. Let's see how long that gets me through. And then I guess figure out, what do y'all like?
We had our favorites, I guess, but I also feel like we kind of, like sometimes we got Pampers, sometimes we got Huggies. I remember being really excited when the kids, when they came out with pull-ups, because that was like game changer. Like, put on your diaper.
Yeah. Well, and it's because now they've got subscription-based diapers and wipes. That's my neighbor was telling me about those that are much more like, they're a little bit more bougie and like better for them, but you have a shipment that's sent to you every week of diapers.
That is one of the few really smart subscription ideas is diapers. Going through the baby stage, you need them constantly.
Yeah.
And as a mother of two babies, you don't want to go out. That makes total sense.
What I didn't really realize is, my mom has been a superstar helping get everything set up. Not every brand has the same size. One brand may be like size 1s go up to 5 pounds. Then it could be another brand is like, oh, actually size 1 goes up to 8 pounds. And so you can't just say, oh, we need size 1 diapers. It's like, well, which brand are you going and picking up for me? And then obviously, yes, with 2, I'm like, okay, what size are they going to be? Like, what do I need more of? Obviously, diapers are a huge part with that. So we're looking at generic brands, $900 a year for one baby, $1,800 for twins. That's generic brand.
Honestly, that seems kind of low to me.
That seems
but,
very low. Name brand, they're estimating about $2,600. Still seems so low.
I got to ask, for any of the showers you've had, have you gotten diapers as a gift?
Yes.
That's where we racked up, which helped immensely.
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of diapers, a whole bunch of white. People have given me a variety, so it's not all just like newborns. So I've at least got some diapers for every size pretty much for the first year, unless they come out as linebackers, like I keep saying.
Oh, man.
Because they're right now proven they're going to be linebackers probably.
They are both going to weigh in. When they're born, they're going to weigh in more than at least 2 of my children.
We're recording this a little bit before they're supposed to be here.
That makes the next topic pretty suitable topic to transition to because it's all about feeding frenzy.
I was about to get real deep. I will save mine.
What? No, what were you going to say?
I'm not a woman. I don't know this feeling, but like, is it weird to sit there in the dark and think like there are humans inside of me?
Yes, it's very strange.
Like, do you think of it often, or
especially now, like I can feel how heavy they are and that they'll start moving. Like it's kind of creepy because like one hot point, it's like there's almost a rolling pin. I feel like they're just in there with a rolling pin. Other times I can feel them violently flip. So like think about if you're in a bed with somebody and they just like out of nowhere just like flip over and it shakes the bed. It's shaking my whole body because they're like violently flipping or they're just like sticking an arm out or whatever. So it's kind of an alienish feeling because it's like there's not one but 2 of them in there. And it's weird to me thinking like, okay, I'm a female and I'm growing 2 boys inside of me. That's weird in itself.
I know it's natural. I mean, since the dawn of man.
Yes, it's really cool. It's exciting. It's how, all these different things we have. But yet, when it comes to childbirth, it's like, that's still, we're doing it the same way. We're growing these humans the same way we were 50, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years ago, whatever.
I really struggled with, sorry, I'm just like going off the rails. I'm sorry. I guess just like as a man, just having a baby, there is zero control you have. There is nothing you can do until the baby's here. There are surprises.
Yep.
It's also kind of awesome.
Try me being a type A personality trying to control every situation of this, because the second I found out I was having twins, I know I told all y'all, I'm like, crap, I'm going to be on bed rest. They're going to come early. We're going to have all this stuff happen. Knock on wood, things have been fine and it's been a pretty smooth pregnancy. And so, but you never know, because I've had a good friend of mine who is pregnant with twins and she had a totally different story and it was not a great situation. And she's now having to be a superhero and kind of get through some tough times. It's wild. And it's also people don't, and this is getting real Debbie Downer, people don't talk about how dangerous childbirth still is. It is still so many things can go wrong. And I think that people brush it off way too much of, oh, well, you just had a baby. Like, regardless of how you brought them into the world, you either just had major abdominal surgery or you just pushed somebody out of you. Both are very traumatic. Your hormones are going ape shoot.
It can stay, Brian. It can stay.
It's a lot. Because then that's where, like, I've heard a lot of it of even me carrying 2 boys. Like, I will have testosterone that lingers in me for a while because of having boys. Saw something. It was like, if you have a C-section, it takes X amount of months for the internal stitches to recover. It takes this amount for that, upwards to 5 years before you're really fully back to who you are with your hormones, with your body, with your everything. And I'm like, that's insane. But we're like, oh, you had a child. You look great.
And you just went through a traumatic experience.
Yeah, I've learned a lot through just not even them being here yet of, holy crap, like I never knew how to help people before because I'm like, oh, you just had a kid. I'll bring you some food or I don't know, what do you need? And now I'm like, literally sometimes people just want somebody to come over and like wash some clothes or do some dishes or just sit and talk to the mother and not coo and call about the baby. Like make it about them for a second and be like, hey, I brought you this magazine or I brought you this Sonic drink. Tell me about you.
That is one of the things that they tell the men all of the time. One of the big pieces of advice we get when dealing with pregnant / having just given birth moms is always ask about her first. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you making it? So on and so forth, because it doesn't have to be all about the babies.
The baby's living a good life, swaddled up, having diapers changed. The mama, though, the mama.
We've already talked about diapers, which are very expensive. Now it's, whichever way you determine to go. If you're breastfeeding, if you're formula feeding, it's expensive. I mean, if you're breastfeeding, then it's kind of like, okay, it's on the tap, but there's a lot of other components that go with that. The equipment, the supplies that you need for that. If you're able to do that, breastfeeding versus formula. Formula, you've got, there's a big recall recently with formula. And then during COVID years, people were like doing drug deals in the parking lot trying to get the formula they wanted.
I thank my lucky stars so many times whenever anything comes up about baby formula or COVID or anything like that my children have, or schools or the fights over, I mean, like so much stuff that seems to be going awry over the last, say, 5 to 10 years that I just didn't have to deal with because my kids were already grown. And I was like, so glad that's not me.
Yeah. Were y'all breastfed or formula?
I have no idea. My parents' favorite story is that when I was born, the nurse came in and said to my mom, that baby is hungry. You need to take that boy home and get him a Big Mac, I think is what she told. Apparently I was big and hungry.
I was breastfed, and then after my mom stopped that, she switched me to formula, but we had to find a soy formula.
Interesting.
Because I had an allergy, and back then that wasn't common. And I think it was my granny that ended up helping my mom figure out the soy allergy and getting that. But now that's the other thing is that there's so many formulas because all these babies are coming out with all these allergies. Not going down that rabbit hole because are they having more allergies or are we just being much more sensitive and in tune? Because it's like when we look back and our moms be like, oh yeah, they were a fussy baby, they threw up all the time. And now we'd be like, oh, that baby has an allergy.
Internal organs messed up.
Formula feeding, then it's obviously the formula itself come out with these wonderful things. And I thankfully was gifted one, but it's like a Keurig, but for formula.
Yeah, that looks cool. I was like, I want one of them.
So you have the formula up there and you just push a button and it's like instant bottle.
We pretty much had a crock pot that sat on our counter always on with water in it. And whenever it was time to feed any of, at least Cakey, I can't remember if we did it with William and Emily too or not, but we would just pop the bottle in the crock pot and let it warm up that way. Yeah. Things that you can do nowadays to make a baby bottle are just, I'm like, that's cool.
A fascinating job is, every time Abby would deliver, once she's kind of a little more recovered, the lactation consultant comes in. And their job is just to coach you through it there. You whip your boob out, sorry if that's a little crass, and they teach you about that. It doesn't always work. Sometimes the baby just doesn't want to latch and you have to do formula. But it is, I think it's comforting for the mom if you go the breastfeeding route, if you're set on that, to have somebody whose one job is to kind of coach you through techniques. This is how you do it. This is when you should do it.
And kind of tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like that is my plan to at least try because there are a lot of benefits out there. And obviously my mom made a comment. She goes, yes, it's hard, but if you're able to do it, it's almost the easy way because then you don't have all the bottles to clean up. You don't have stuff like that. But now obviously it then restricts that a mother is 100% attached. I did find some really great t-shirts. I'm excited about them. They've got like normal t-shirts. They got the zippers on the side so you can be more discreet. Comical because it looks like a normal design, but if you look closer, it's like Milk Farm and like it's funny stuff like that.
I read a while ago, I don't know if this is true, that a breastfeeding mom loses like 900 calories. She burns 900 calories a day just by breastfeeding. I was like, I wish I could do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's where it's supposed to help the mom kind of get back to feeling good and back to feeling herself. Obviously, then that helps the babies. But, one of the biggest things is I'm going into this not knowing really anything, but I know that there should be no judgment. You do what you got to do because a fed baby is what matters. And so I have said from the get-go, I'm going to try because I know there's great benefits to me and to the babies. But if it turns into a situation of my mental health and I feel like I'm losing who I am, I think Dana would rather have me there to help with babies than I'm feeding them, but I am a complete zombie and I can't do anything.
That's exactly right. And that's a healthy mindset to go into with new babies is trial and error. If you're set in some way and you're not flexible, you're going to be broken quickly.
Yeah. I think the thing is that there's so much, you got to have grace to it. You cannot look at social media and what these people are putting out there of this like beautiful story. And for some people, pregnancy and newborns is a beautiful moment, but other times it's like you're learning, you're guessing, you're going to screw up. And it's like, as long as the baby is diapers changed and they're fed, it's okay. But I think every single person screws up. I mean, would you say, between the two of you, y'all have 6 kids?
6 kids. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure y'all had some moments that you wouldn't want to be publicizing of.
Oh, our kids bring them up with us all the time.
Yeah.
Here's how you messed us up, Dad.
We're big scripts. There's no perfect way to parent or raise a newborn. It's hard.
Messing with like my little cousins or my nieces, and it's like the time I accidentally like was playing with Cora, or maybe been Jules, and like, you know, picking her up and bouncing her, and she kind of slipped on my hand and she hit her head a little bit. Like, it was not a slam down on the ground thing, but I'm like traumatized. I'm like, she's fine.
Kids are resilient.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trip the front flipped out of his crib when he was just a baby. Just like straight up, leaned over and on the ground. We're like, he died.
Oh, God.
No, he was fine. He's good.
So then the nursery going from 1 to 2 is obviously we're having to figure out what we need double of. And so we've got how to get the double stroller, have to have double cribs, 2 car seats, plus in the car seat bases to be in the other vehicle. And what is frustrating that I'm going through, and especially with twins, is so you're having 2 kids at the same time. So you're going to have one that really loves the Mamaroo and one that despises it. So it's like, do you buy 2 Mamaroos, or do you just buy one Mamaroo, test them both out, and then quickly Amazon overnight another Mamaroo? Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of things that we have, or there's a good bit of things we have multiple, like the little loungers that I've heard are, you know, the best things possible. If like you're taking a shower, that you can like strap a kid in there and they can be sitting in
They're the best
things. And then, but like a Mamaroo, I've got one, and the Snoo bassinet, which is like supposedly the godsend blessing, helps you get all this extra sleep. I got one because I don't want to buy 2 of those things. They're expensive. And then one of them is like, I don't need it, I hate it, or whatever. So that's been challenging. It adds up quickly. And then you got to, like, having kids, you got to change your house up. You got to rearrange everything. You got to change things, quickly racking up dollars before you even get to that hospital bill.
outlet covers everywhere.
Oh, yeah. The true budget buster, daycare and childcare. Again, I think this process has helped me to be an even better financial advisor and financial planner for my clients, because I have for years been able to talk to people about how you get this pay increase when a kid's not in daycare, or looking at things of those daycare years or the years that you have another mortgage essentially, and that you can't really save. I always knew that, but now feeling that personally going through this, I'm going to be able to be much more understanding with my clients and really kind of a difference to figure it out, because there's so many couples that have to determine if your significant other only makes the amount that is paying to daycare. Is it worth it for them to be working, or do they stay home?
Some people like...
If it's an even trade-off.
Yeah, if it's an even trade-off, then some people prefer to go to work and pay for the daycare.
Their sanity, so they need it, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that's a hard decision to make. It's, you know, trying to determine what's in your best interest, looking at, do you have a family member that can help out? Do you hire a nanny service? Do you have daycare? And it's because with everything right now, it gets more expensive. With 2, especially looking at this, you can get some sibling discounts, but then... infants are going to cost more. The bigger they get, the cheaper they get, because then you're not having to have a care person that's worrying about bottles and diapers and stuff like that. But it truly is it's a struggle, and it's kind of, you have to look at the price tag, but you also have to look at then, if you do a daycare, you're paying daycare regardless if your kids go or not. Mm-hmm. And so, but then you're also at the mercy of if the daycare closes because of holidays or threat of weather or whatever, you then have to make sure between the 2 working individuals, who's going to go pick them up, who's going to stay home and take care of them. Mm-hmm. So then you're having to pay for a babysitter. You're having to get a family member, getting somebody to help with that. You know, one of the things I'm struggling with is with 2, if one of them's sick, more than likely a daycare is going to be like, oh, well, twin A is sick, so twin B can't come either because they're in the same house. So then I'm like, okay, great. I have one sick twin and one not sick twin. I got to figure out what to do because I can't take either of them to daycare.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if that's a thing or not. I mean, like,
I don't know. It's,
you know, that's one of those things where I'm like, really? Would they? Because usually the rules center around like, is it vomiting? Does it have a fever?
Or it's you take one to daycare and one's at home. So then you're then paying double childcare that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way, the day is a wash. Even if one gets to go.
That's one of the things about early parent is difficult. You catch everything. Your kid comes home with every possible illness, and you catch all of it.
Yeah, well, that's one of those I'm debating, because obviously childcare is very expensive. And you think about this, it's childcare and elderly care are some of the most expensive things out there. But you think about it, those are our most precious assets. Our aging parents, grandparents, and our babies. You want to make sure that they are in a place that there's people who are going to take care of them. You don't want to find the bargain discounts. And because let me tell you, I toured some places, and the second I walked in, they kept talking to me about their discounts they offered, their this. And then it's just that colored my mindset the entire time I was touring. The place just seemed like it was a big old open room and they're just letting everybody run. And I'm like, I will not send my worst enemy's kids here. Like, this is awful.
Hello, germs.
Yeah, it was crazy. It felt like this is where they learn how to make shanks. Like, I don't know. This is terrible.
Again,
did you learn how to make shanks in daycare?
Well, no. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. She kept me home until I would go to Mother's Day out and stuff like that before I started full-time school. But I stayed home with mom when I was growing up, and or when my kids were growing up. Like, my mom had a maid that came in twice a week, and she could leave me with the maid. So it wasn't really technically a nanny, but I grew up with the same maid for many, many years. The way that we did things with our kids, I assume been 20-something years since my kids were babies. I assume that it's all different now. I haven't set foot in a daycare in 2 decades.
Yeah. Well, and daycares are set of the times, drop off and pick up. Mm-hmm. It's not one of those of like, I'm stuck in a meeting late.
Yeah. You have to leave work. You have to pick up your child or they charge you like $100 a minute.
So I hope y'all are ready to be listed as like authorized pickup people.
Don't play. I mean, we've listed random people over the years.
Uncle Cam and Uncle Quarter coming to pick them up.
Always had my parents were always listed. Robin's sister was always listed. I mean, but then, just like randomly, who can we send them home with today?
That's obviously a big budget thing to think about. And it's weighing not just the options of how much the nanny costs or how much the daycare costs, but how much is the cost of using those services if they're unavailable with timing, with sick, things like that. Because obviously the nanny, if the kid's sick, the nanny can still come over.
We should just quickly mention in the past, we've talked about time and money, that kind of thing. It could be expensive, but if that means like your mental health, it's worth it.
Yeah,
if you have the money, like get things done around the house, absolutely.
You mentioned the Mother's Day out. They'll have a remote job where they're able to kind of juggle a kid at home and work remotely. You still need that like time to go to the grocery store where you aren't having to lug around kids. Like, I mean, I know that's one of those, and I'm like, number one, I don't like going to the grocery store anyways, let alone taking 2 kids with me.
The single biggest luxury sitter that I think Robin and I ever got was we used a babysitting service. We would just call them and they would send whoever. And we called them one day and we were like, we need a babysitter from this time of the day to this time of the day. And we usually only ever used the service if we were going out on a date or something. Then Robin and I both left in like separate cars. She went to go run errands. I went to go Christmas shopping because it was around Christmas time and I needed to buy Christmas presents. And neither of us wanted to have to deal with the kids while we were doing that. But I just remember being like, I can't believe we paid a babysitter so that we could go run errands, but it was so worth it.
You probably got it done so much quicker because then you could park the car, run in, do something instead of the time of having to load them up. Do they have jackets? Do you have change of clothes? Do you have diapers? Do you have everything? No, I mean, it's time and money. It makes sense. I'll briefly touch on, obviously, college savings. Trust me, that's already in the back of my mind.
529.
Got to have a 529 plan for each of the boys. Vehicles have already been a conversation that I've had in the back of my head as well. There's a lot. Kids are expensive. And that's where a lot of times when I do a financial plan for somebody, I do not stop their expenses at 18. I have their expenses going until you die because your children more than likely will be in some capacity on your payroll for the rest of your life.
One of the big things that I was just having a conversation with one of my kids today is kids can stay on the insurance until they're 26.
Yep.
We have one who's now has a job that she can get insurance through her job. We've also gone through the whole, you're about to turn 26 and you don't have insurance. What are you going to do? So that's an ongoing cost because that family coverage ain't cheap. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, obviously because of the dawn of social media, there's a lot of support groups, but there's also a lot of sharing when it comes to kids and what they need. Because a lot of this stuff you have to get for babies, for toddlers, for anything, it's only for a couple of months. Like I had to explain that to Daniel. The car seats that we have now are only for a little bit of time. And then they graduate up to, the next size car seat. And it's like you spend all that money and it's only used for a couple of months. That's something that it'll still be good because it's still because car seats expire. It'll still be good that I could then pass it to somebody else to use, or like baby clothes. These boys have so many newborns and 0 to 3s that if they come out like linebackers, like I think they will, we may go straight to 6 months. It's like you were born yesterday, but you're in 6 months. It's fine. So I'll have all these clothes that are so little that maybe they wore once or they didn't wear at all that I can then pass to somebody else. And yes, you can pass, you can resell, so you can maybe get a little bit of money back that can go towards your daycare fund. So what's next for BullCast? Don't worry, BullCast is not going anywhere. We have been doing this, as Cam said, for 5 years. We enjoy it. We've had some, I've definitely pressured the guys recently of I want to leave y'all with as much content as possible. When you're hearing this, I hopefully will have already had the babies. It would have been a couple of weeks and y'all would have already still had some great content from us about, stocks and the stock market.
But now she gone.
But now I'm gone.
That's your legacy, Katie. Leaving a library of BullCast content.
Yeah, because I wanted to prepare. I wanted to make sure that things were taken care of. And that's where, if you got a little bit of head's notice, I'm off learning how to function. This is learning how to function on 4 hours of sleep. What? I've heard it's like, an hour or two at a time and then, wake up and.
Once they're sleep trained, which is 6 to 7 months, somewhere in there where they're sleeping through the night. It's spotty.
Well, I kind of already am doing that, having to wake up every couple hours to go to the bathroom because they are pressing on my bladder. What are you guys going to be doing while I'm off losing my mind?
We're changing format of BullCast moving forward. Obviously, this will become a Bull podcast that is all about movies and disc golf. That's it. That's all we're going to talk about.
I just want to know who is going to keep up with my hello.
Oh, nobody.
No.
Unless we use a pre-recorded Katie hello, that is something that will have to go to the wayside.
We'll hold auditions. We'll see who's got it.
I think you should test out different people.
Okay. We'll bring in different staff members and have them say hello.
I think
you can't get rid of the hello. Because remember, I tried to get rid of the hello like 5 or 10 episodes in, and you're like, no.
That's our shtick. Come on.
Stuck.
You can't get rid of it. I think we are going to feature a lot of guests. It's been a minute since we've had some guests in.
That's kind of what they did on the Today Show, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
They're trying to find their replacement, and they just kind of had different rotating people.
Oh, we're not finding your replacement.
No, you're just like, it's temporary. And they don't even get to sit in my seat, actually. They have to go sit in the guest seat.
Not even a cable on that microphone. They'll just be mute.
Yeah.
Well,
where is the cable for that microphone?
It's in the other recording studio.
Video
David's
studio.
Yeah.
You can't let him sit in my seat.
Mm-hmm. Put him in the corner.
I don't know. I've gotten quite used to having somebody across from me to talk to. That's the one thing about having a guest that bugs me is I have to turn like this to talk
Katie
to
and I are
them.
used to it.
Yeah, we're used to this.
I'm not used to that. Whenever I am recording, I'm always either sitting in your seat, which means that I'm probably not looking at the person that I'm recording with anyway, because I'm probably looking at the computer the whole time.
Yeah.
Or I'm sitting in my seat, which is directly across from Katie. So.
And you better listen to our episodes, Katie.
While
you're feeding the twins.
I will turn it on so then they can hear y'all's voices. And they're already hearing them now. Wrapping this up, the bullseye, I would say, what advice do you guys have for me?
This says, since we're both fathers, what advice would we give you? But I think probably the more fathers and mothers parent differently. I think that that's just a thing. So I'm not sure that fatherly advice is really going to be all that helpful to you as you're raising these kids. But we do know a little bit something about boys.
As a new parent, I said it earlier, it's tough. You learn by the people you're around with the advice. And especially with you as the female, you talked about the hormones going crazy.
Yep.
Daniel will learn to
manage
it. And you go really easy on yourself and just tell yourself this will pass.
Yeah.
I don't know when, but it will eventually pass. And in those tough moments, Daniel or BB can take the babies and hang out with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you're going to get through it. Parenthood is great. It's terrible and great at the same time.
It's not a time to think to yourself, okay, I just need to suck it up. That is not the approach to take with this. Sometimes you've got to have assistance. So don't be Miss Tough Girl and try and do everything yourself.
I have heard that a lot, that you've got to ask for help.
Yeah, that is all.
On that note,
y'all have a great time without me. Not too much fun. Give me little shout outs or something.
We will.
I don't feel like, because then that's really going to upset me if I'm like, they don't even need me anymore.
Katie, we always need you. Come on now.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
And there's the closing bell. Ladies and gentlemen, you've made it to the end of yet another episode of the BullCast podcast. If you liked what you heard and you'd like to hear more, please feel free to go to your favorite subscription service and sign up to have our podcast delivered directly to your device every single Thursday at noon. If you'd like to find out more about Corlin, Katie, Cameron, or Nicole, please feel free to go to our website. That website is bullcastpodcast.com. We've got pictures up there. We've got our bios if you want to read about us. And we've got a place where you could drop a comment or suggest a topic you'd like to hear us talk more about. But hey, I mentioned pictures. If you like pictures, we do have an Instagram handle. That handle is at BullCast Podcast. We also have an X handle that is at BullCast Podcast as well. And finally, we have a Facebook page rounding out the social media. That is BullCast the Podcast. So check us out there. We mentioned that we work at a place called Pickler Wealth Advisors. And if you'd like to find out more about what we do, what we could potentially do for you, find out about our amazing team, or find out about our boss, David Pickler, please feel free to go to that website. That website is picklerwealthadvisors.com.
That's advisors with an O.
Not an E.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have given you everything you need to go forth, reproduce. So for now, I'm Court.
I'm Katie.
I'm Cam.
And we're done.